Welcome back to Demo 6. Video is featuring Julie this time again, doing lots of variety of exercises. Some you've seen before, some not. Beginning here with a pelvic tilt, where you kind of just thrust your hips using the weight of your legs to exercise them. And you'll see in a moment how it works your abdominals close up. This is what you'd call an isolation exercise for abdominals, whereas the sit-ups and hip flexors, leg raises were compound exercises. This is a very small movement that isolates the abdominals, and you can see Julie's abdominals working absolutely to the max in pushing through, just thrusting your hips with the weight of your legs against them. Not as easy as it looks. Small movement, just a thrust up, back down, breathing out as you squeeze up. Works the whole of the abdominals, works even the serratus at the side. You can see everything working. In fact, Julie's very low body fat in her abdominals there. She's not carrying much at all. There's a little bit maybe under the skin at the bottom, but that's real nitpicking. Julie's abdominals are in very, very good shape in this video. And she's getting tired. There's a slight swing in her legs. It's permissible. And now on to one of our favourites, which is a compound exercise, which is hip flexors, abdominals. Is a good old weighted sit-ups. We love them. They keep all of your abdominals, everything working together, as opposed to isolating it. Breathe out every time you squeeze up, counting, determined to get the reps that she wants in. That's the key, to know what you're capable of and just do a little bit more. And it's a heavier weight. She's gone up from I think the blue one's a 15, I think it's a 20 kilo now. I think we've been as high as 60, 70 kilos at some time. But it doesn't really matter what the weight is, as long as it's what you can manage at any given time. If you're training regularly, eating well, the thing is, I mean, I've seen the slogan on a t-shirt, fit happens. It does, and strong happens as well if you get enough rest, you sleep, you eat well, and you have a very, very positive state of mind, a great attitude. This is all mind, absolutely all mind. In fact, there are studies when just concentrating on working your biceps resulted in an increase in strength and an increase in bicep size. Don't ever underestimate the power of your brain and your visualization. The next exercise you see pictured here, this is a shrug machine, a Cybex shrug machine, and Julie's doing bent over rows on it. This exercise is primarily for the back. And this machine isn't actually intended to do this exercise, but it's a fantastic exercise. And because we have very good knowledge, we sometimes use machines in a way that the manufacturer didn't intend. But I'm sure if he saw us using it like it, he would kind of put it on his sales spiel as an option. Sometimes the simplest machines have the most uses. This is literally two hinged bars with handles on it, and you can do squats, lunges, bent over rows like Julie's doing now, shrugs, deadlifts, do lots of exercises. That's what you want. If you own a gym, you want equipment that's flexible that you can do a lot of exercises on, and it's simple. Oh, another set yet. Some of these are shot at different times. I've spliced these together. Julie's hair hasn't got shorter and put itself up in between sets. And she's using less weight, and it's actually stricter the technique she's doing here. She's in about the same condition in both. They're all wearing the same outfit. That would not do with it. It doesn't matter. And again, some serious rowing. These exercises are good because they're a compound exercise for your back. So there's arms involved as well, which is always more weight on there. That's more of a challenge now. The stance is not quite as strong as it was in the last set. She's really having to work on this. It's strong though, so there's 40 kilos, there's 20 kilos each hand there. And it's quite a long range of motion. It's good, very good. Last set, and she's got 25 on now. She's obviously in the mood. You have to have quite a strong lower back as well to get in the position to stay down and have your back support you without straining anything. She's got quite a nice flat back. She holds it nice and tight. Yeah, it's challenging her. She's having to dip into it. Yeah, good set, very heavy. And she went light-headed because she was bending over, is my guess. And now we go to, and this is, you have to be quite flexible in the shoulders to pull her down behind your head like Julie is. If you can do it, it's a fantastic exercise. You can see how it works Julie's back. It's even her chest high, she's not crumpling over or leaning forward. She's squeezing back, squeezing her shoulder blades together, and the lats are flaring out as she goes up and squeezing together at the bottom. Perfect. That's a great shot and good demonstration of a pull down behind the neck. But beware if you're not flexible in the shoulders. I can't do this. I'm too tight in the shoulders to do this. I do mine to the front. Julie does it comfortably. She's not only getting behind her head, she's almost halfway down the traps. If you hear me talk about traps, look at the muscle at the top, right at the top, centre, top, that's your trapezius. Bunching up as she pulls down. It's good set. Excellent form. Quite a wide grip. So very full range of motion as well. Not getting carried away with too much weight because you lose form. If Julie put too much weight on there, she'd lean forward, she wouldn't quite get down as far. Towards the end of the set, she's not getting down as far as she was at the beginning. See, these are coming right down. Excellent form. This is what you're aiming for, good form, always. Full range of motion, so the muscles have to work the way they were intended to work. Now she's the last few reps she wasn't getting the depth, end of set. The weight will be going up a little bit. The reps will probably be dropping down. This is actually quite a good demonstration because I've obviously edited together a couple of different sessions. It doesn't hurt to get a really good exercise demonstration stored. I'm trying to look at her lower back there, which was quite tense, and yeah, you can see it now, and just when she leans forward a bit. Now this is the incline Smith press machine, which is a push. And we always tend to work any pressing we do for chest. We always tend to work it on an incline if we can. So the development comes slightly higher up the chest. So it comes out from your clavicles. And we don't really care how much weight we lift in the slightest. People so often ask, how much do you bench press? I haven't got a clue. Julie won't have a clue either. We never do singles, always do reps, always train by feel. Julie won't know what she's doing next until she's done this set, and then it'll be, oh yeah, put another couple of kilos on, take something off. You have to be in the moment with your training. Don't make a big plan and then disappoint yourself or try and expect to do something you've done before. Decide at the moment. You see, Julie loves these. The Smith machine you see her using, sometimes the bars are very, very heavy on their own without any weight, But these ones here are counterbalanced, so there's a weight inside the trunking that you see on the machine, so it's next to nothing, the bar. Other bars can be 30 or 40 kilos before you put anything on them. This is a heavy set. Julie's working on this now. Pushing away. Really good exercise for anybody that does a sport that has to hand off, push people away. People think there must be a makeup artist in between sets. Julie goes from the hair up to blonde locks. Good shot, determined. Each one determined to get back up again. Yeah, good set. And the breathing on this, what we normally do is you breathe in at the top and then out. As soon as you start, you have to push at the bottom, breathe out. You normally find this kind of halfway up where you have to really exhale to squeeze it up. So it's there. Breathe in and out. In and out. In at the top and out there. You get a rhythm going, you count at the same time. And they're good, and if you have a training partner that keeps you, is a good spotter, they try and keep that tempo going for you. So if you aim for 12 and you've got 9 and you have a good spotter, they'll keep that tempo and you force 3. I don't think we use any forced reps on this, obviously, because I'm holding the camera, so I can't be spotting Julie. This is heavy. It's 4 and she's struggling. She'll keep working. 5. I think I'm holding the camera and actually trying to help her on the bar as well now. 6. 7, here I am. She's still pushing. 8. That's good. Last 4 assisted. It's excellent. And this one is this is an assisted dip machine, but Julie's not using the assist, just using it to dip on. It's quite a good angle of dips really. I had to shoot it from behind the machine. We normally use dips for a chest exercise, believe it or not. Especially body weight, it's quite heavy for a chest exercise. You can tie weight around your waist. And it works. It works as good as any decline presses do, decline bench presses, if not better actually. I've heard it called, people rate the squat as an excellent exercise for legs and whole body. I've heard the dips called the upper body squat before. It's quite a good exercise all round, shoulders, triceps, chest. Now this is a cable lateral raise. Now this will be quite a lightweight. You come across your body with a lateral raise, one arm at a time. And it is light, and you're pulling from the shoulder and you're keeping it as strict as you can. These are good exercises. Lots of tension on the shoulder. Julie's very, very strict. You will see people swinging it a bit more, leaning forward when they're down and throwing it back up again. But that was good form. And obviously you have to turn around or use a different pulley for the other one. Nice and controlled. Tension on the shoulder all the time. You see the shoulder working on that one. Quite continuous tension. Squeeze in each rep. Very good. I'd say Julie's gone up a little bit more on this one because you just see that slight lean forward and really pull hard to swing it up. There's almost an acceptable amount of body movement before it just gets ridiculous and you actually stop using your shoulders. It's quite a determined exercise. It's just shoulder strength to actually force it up there. Isolation exercise, not much else involved. Just your shoulders. Close up of Julie's determination. There'll be normally 3 sets of these you do. Exercises like this, the only reason you ever put an extra set in really is if you're really enjoying it, but normally it's because you've miscalculated the weight and you think you can go a little bit heavier on one more set, then you would normally do it, rather than walk out of the gym knowing you should have lifted more. You normally catch it right, but every now and again you have a good day and you think, yeah, I could have gone up today. And so that's exactly what you do. You go up. And dodgy characters wandering around in the background. Okay, this exercise is again for shoulders. Well, it's complete shoulders. You'd think it was anterior delts, which is the front of your shoulders, which is, but it's a controlled. Quite often, Julie's leaning against an incline bench. It gives you something to lean against a little bit to keep yourself stable, and then you just raise it up just above parallel. It's all shoulders. A little bit of upper chest you can see involved as well if you look at Julie's chest as it moves. Good exercise. Very strict. And as you get heavier, you'll see Julie will just use a little bit more. Her arms are slightly more bent, and that's good form. She's not throwing it much. We tend to want to throw it a little bit more as it gets heavier. But I've got to say, it doesn't help a lot. You wouldn't term it as cheating. The gym's quite busy at this time by the looks of things today. And as I said, it's quite a male-dominated gym. There's not many classes here. There's a few women. You can remember each woman that trains there just because there wasn't so many. Julie didn't go up. She kept the same weight for this. Nice and controlled. Not letting it drop or throwing it up. It's excellent. Trying to get close up with her shoulders and chest. You can do these with barbells as well, the forward raises. Right, this is a tricep, they're called skull crushers or tricep extension. It's a decline, we put the end of the bench on a step. Now we make sure we go behind the head with it, so triceps are in quite a good working position, and it's just keeping your elbows as a fulcrum so they're still, and you're lowering it behind, and it's driving it out, pressing it out to extension. And this is tricep work. And it's good tricep work, and it's a real old staple of bodybuilders for years gone by. Heavy tricep French, they call it French presses or skull crushers or tricep extensions. Just a really good exercise. You do have to be careful on these. One, for don't hit yourself on the head, and two, really you need to make sure that you don't go over the top on the weight, because it can wreck your elbows. It's known as an elbow wrecker, so nice and controlled. And if you're sensible with the weight, there's no issues. If you let your ego decide what to put on the bar, you're in trouble. You decide each set by the set before. So start reasonably light and make your decisions. If you're training with someone stronger than you, make your decisions. Don't try and keep up with them. Not to a degree that you hurt yourself. Barbell curls, that's too light, I would say, with Julie. She's throwing it around. Form's fine, it's quite fast. Curling well. Julie's biceps are generally stronger than her triceps, but she's balanced her physique up really well over the years. Any weaknesses have been ironed out. Nice balance to Julie's physique. And that comes just from training everything with equal intensity, not doing extras for your strengths, not concentrating on your strengths, which is easy to do. If anything, concentrating on what would be termed weaknesses to balance it out. It's a balanced routine for lots of years. And Julie's been training close on 30 years. No, she has been training 30 years, as long as we've been married. And I've been training about 39 years. And it goes without saying, it's like I've been brushing my teeth for 39 years. It's just all the things, well, no, I haven't been brushing longer than that, but just part of our lifestyle. When you've always done something, you don't think of it as a. We speak to people all the time that have trained, and they'll stop and they'll train and they'll stop and they'll train and they'll stop. So it's never actually become part of the lifestyle. They just wait till they get out of shape and then get back in shape. Whereas if you make it part of your life, you quite quickly pick up on any times where you're eating too much or your inactivity is not good. You need to do more, move more, or eat less. Hammer curl is a game I've spoken before. We use them as a finisher at the end of a workout. Squeeze them in. This gym was quite big. We left it some years ago. We were here when we were at university. And it had a small extension when we were there, but we did hear there was even another extension, so by now it'll be quite a large facility. And it's a sign that in the UK gyms are getting bigger, especially more hardcore gyms like a Gold's, which has more resistance equipment than cardio. It has a decent amount of cardio, but it's very much resistance orientated. It's nice and clean. It's not an inferior facility, which can happen really sometimes for bodybuilding. Quite often the bodybuilding gym is set up by an enthusiast, so it doesn't have the backing of the big fitness organisations. And so this is different. This is wrist curls now again. Flexing from the wrist, working the forearms. I always joke that Julie's bum's in the way and she can't do this properly, but I'm kidding. More curls. I think when I edit these videos sometimes I must wander off somewhere and put the same clips in again. That looks very much like the same curl that we had earlier on. Call it a bonus curl clip. The gym looks very dark as well, just a little bit of light in the back window. It wasn't obviously a dark gym at all. But you're trying to find the best light. I think Julie was 49 when this was being shot. She just started to compete, 48, 49. Just for those people who are interested in age. The weights are going up here. You can see there's a slight throw at the beginning of it now. Still good form. Good form. The thing with curls is if you're not careful and you lean back too much, you can actually get a lower back strain from curls by using too much weight and then leaning back when you throw it up. You see people doing it and it's almost painful to watch. The key is to always set limitations on your looseness. You might need to loosen up just a touch to get a few extra reps, but that's all you allow yourself. You can't allow yourself to cheat from the word go. Yeah, I think I've put just a couple of these clips in twice, so never mind. Reinforcement of these exercises isn't a bad thing. Repetition's good for learning. Julie's form on this is perfect. There's no body movement, it's quite light. It's all arms. Your head moves around a lot, but that's just it's an idiosyncrasy, I believe they call it. The guy just walking by there is over 50s natural. I think he might be British champion for like a short class. This gym had some quite good bodybuilders. Not many, but they're quite successful, the ones that were there. Bodybuilding is very much feels like a growth sport, at least at a local level in the UK. Lots of people will never go at shows, and natural shows are really popular. and they're starting to add health and fitness type categories and classic categories. If I ever competed again, I'd go in the classic category. I don't particularly want to get massive again, but I could definitely get in shape at say 100 kilos or so. I know that's quite big, but not for me. I think we, as I say, I think Julie does a little bit of posing at the end of this again. This competition that she was going for from this moment was what's called a physique competition for women. The other one was a trained figure. Trained figure, you can wear shoes and jewellery. Physique contest is like no shoes, just a bikini and the hair out of the way, and kind of quite a raw, more about muscle, women's physique than the other show. I think Julie prefers trained figure. I mean, she's got her fists closed there when she does the double biceps. When a trained figure, you're only allowed to have an open hand. You're not allowed to. They don't consider closing your fist feminine enough. It's quite confused. There's quite confused. I don't know what you call it. Criteria in women's bodybuilding and women's physique training for what's expected. There are lots of different categories. No one can make their mind up. Most of the time, the girls train as hard as they can, and then try and match their bodies to a category that will suit, which is unfair, but it's kind of the only thing they can do really. Whereas the guys know that the bigger and the more muscle they got and the bigger they can for the body weight, the better they'll do, and the more ripped, obviously. I do understand the concerns about women's bodybuilding, absolutely. Again, that pose, you have to show your calves and hamstrings. Julie's quite, at this time, she was carrying quite a lot of muscle at this time, obviously, when we were training quite regularly. She was at university, she was working full-time university. She was a very busy lady, and then she decided to do her first show the year she graduated, and she won the show. She got a degree, and she was still working. She's very much a determined lady, and the busier she gets, the more she likes it, I think. But that posing's quite, the posing in the show she's going for here is what you call masculine posing. It's the same poses as the guys do, more or less. Whereas the posing in the trained figure is very different. It is very, and I can see that there should be maybe a difference. I mean, Julie stands on her head, she dances around maybe more than a guy would in the other show. In this one, it's almost mimicking male poses to a point. So really the jury's still out on where women's bodybuilding will be going. Thank you very much for watching the 6th demo, and I hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you. Enjoy.